Hi, it's Jennifer. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to be doing a tutorial on these beautiful paper flowers. These are gorgeous poppies, and they come from the Stampin Up Build-a-Bouquet kit in the spring catalog. Just found some tips and tricks that might make it easier for you to assemble your flowers. So I'll be doing a series of 3, the poppies, the wild roses, and the pansies, so check out those videos as well. Please click that subscribe button so that you don't miss a video tutorial, and let's go ahead and get started. So today we are going to be making the beautiful poppies in the Build-a-Bouquet Simply Created kit, and this makes a really gorgeous looking bouquet. I have it here. Put it in a little mason jar, and I only used 3 of the flowers here. I used these poppies, I used the rose, this rose here, and then the pansies. And so today we're going to be taking a look at the large poppies. So what you'll need for the large poppy here is 3 strips of the black fringe. You'll need 8 of the large petals, 8 of the smaller petals, 1 of the flower stems, and 1 of the cardstock flower centers here. So what we'll do first is we also need a hot glue gun here. I just have a mini hot glue gun, works really great, heats up quickly. So what you're going to do is just begin to roll, actually I'll turn it over and go this way. We're going to roll these fringe centers really as tightly as we can. I'm going to roll these up. And when I made my first flower, I found that unless I was careful to keep the fringe kind of in line and on top of itself, that I sort of ended up with some fringe centers coming out. I think if you can see it on this one, they're coming out a little bit from the top of the flower, which is not a big deal, but you're going to want to just kind of make sure that you're rolling right on top of the fringe piece. Keep rolling. Excuse me, I'm getting over a bit of a cold. So we'll roll, roll, roll. When you get to just near the end, what you're going to want to do is take a little bit of hot glue, and be careful of your fingers here, but just put a little bit of hot glue there so that you can adhere the next strip right on to the end of the one that you've been rolling. Careful of your fingers, that is not from the hot glue gun, believe it or not. And then you'll just keep rolling. And so I will continue to roll, and then I will put this last piece on as well. So in this kit, you will get enough to make 25, I believe it is, flowers. I chose to just make the poppies and the wild roses and the pansies for my bouquet. I left out the daisies and the chrysanthemums, but you can make all of them. You could also choose to use some of the flowers for a gift topper. I will say that this is a kit that can take several hours to complete if you're going to make it all in one sitting. So you might want to kind of work on one set of flowers at a time. Okay, so now we've made our little roll of fringe. You're going to want to glue the end here to the base and just make sure that that's set. Now see, all of these little strings here, I really didn't worry too much about those until the very end, and then I pulled them all off. So once you have that glued together in this little center, you're going to want to take your flower stem, and I just put kind of a generous amount of hot glue there, and then inserted the center right onto that stem, and you can press it in quite a bit, and you'll see here that I did get a little bit of that fringe sticking up, which we can trim off later or you can leave. I think it might add a little bit of interest. straighten out my stem here. And we're going to set this aside for a minute just to set up while we work on the petals. Okay, now that we've made our flower center, we're going to go ahead and set that aside and work with the petals. So as I mentioned before, when I started this project, I didn't have the stamp set that coordinated to create the detail on the petals, but I did use a stamp that I had that sort of mimicked the one in the catalog. You could also use a marker to draw the lines, although that might get a little tedious if you're doing all of the flowers at once. So once you have the flowers stamped, and you really only need to stamp one side, the detail sort of does show through on the inside of the petal and gives it that nice look. So what we're going to do is adhere the petal bottoms together, and so you're going to want to have the stamped side on the bottom here. Grab your hot glue gun and just do a little dab of hot glue and just hold that together for a second there. This will help the petals to have a cupped appearance, and you want to make sure that you overlap them enough so that they are cupped and not too flat. So we'll go ahead and adhere the rest of these. That one got some really nice detail on the inside. And again, these little strings, don't worry too much about those until the very end, and then we can pull them all off. So you're going to do 8 of these smaller petals per flower, and then 8 of these larger ones. And we're going to do the same thing. Just like that. All right. And I did, just for the sake of time, already put together the rest of my petals here. Actually, I didn't know that I was going to be doing a video, but as I put these together, I realized that there are some tips and tricks that might really be helpful as you're starting to assemble the flowers. So here we have all of our large petals and then our smaller ones. So now what we're going to do is bring in the flower center here, and I like to work sort of like this so I can see where the petals are going to line up. And the best way to do this is to just apply some hot glue right here at the base of the fringe center, and we're going to start with the smaller petals, and you're just going to lay them down and adhere just like that to the base. Ooh, careful with that glue. And then I just hold it just like this, apply it to the opposite side. Just kind of hold those down. Come on into this side here. And I just found that working upside down like this was the easiest for me. And once all of the petals are arranged, we're going to kind of fluff them out a little bit, so don't worry if they look a little bit flat right now. It's a little bit easier if you're able to put it a little bit closer to you while you're doing this, but if I did that, my big head would be in the way, so we're gonna just do it this way. And now you're gonna start overlapping these smaller petals, continuing to rotate until you've added all 8. Come over to the other side here. Man, that Band-Aid just wants to hang on to all those little strings. Sorry about that. And if you get some little blobs of glue like that, don't worry. They'll be covered up by the larger petals. You won't be able to see them once you're all done. Okay, now we'll move on to the larger petals, and again we're going to be kind of overlapping them so that the flower starts to take on. Whoop, got a little lopsided there, that's okay. We'll start with the larger petals here. And really these flowers are not designed to look perfect, you know? These are both handmade, and flowers in nature don't always look exactly perfect, and so that's okay. You can sort of flip it over every once in a while here to see what it's shaping up to look like. Might need to grab another glue stick. For this entire bouquet, I probably, let's see, have used 8 to 10 of these mini glue sticks. They just fit right in here in my mini glue gun. Okay. So it's shaping up and looking really pretty. I think these would look lovely as a topper to a gift box or a gift bag. We'll add this last one on right here. Oop. Actually, we have 2 more. These are really nice and full flowers when you're all done. Oh, isn't that pretty? And let's do the last one. Oh, looks pretty good as it is. We'll do the last one right over here. And you'll see you kind of cover the fringe center, just like you would have on a real flower. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay, so now we're going to bring in this flower. Sorry, let me get some of these strings off. Whew. You know, crafting, not for the folks who don't like to get just a little bit messy. All right, so to add on the flower center, you might want to curl the edges of this with your bone folder. You can just curl them up like this to give them a little bit more dimension so they're not quite so flat. These are made out of cardstock, whereas the petals are all more of a crepe paper, so they have a little bit more movement. And so I just pop the end right on there like that, and then I use a kind of generous amount of glue around the bottom. Again, it'll be covered by this center. We really want all of those petals to stay in place. Just bring that down like that. You might have a little hot glue pop out the end there. That's okay with me. I'd really rather the flowers stay together. And then you can set that aside to dry. Once it's all dry, you can rearrange the petals a little bit, bring them out so that your flower is a little bit more full. And if these little extra fringe center here pieces are bothering you, it's really no problem at all just to trim those out. You just trim them right off, just like that. Ah, isn't that pretty? Now there are leaves that come with this flower set that you can adhere to the end, as well as floral tape, which you can wrap around if you like. I haven't done that because I think that I'm going to actually trim off the wire and adhere that on the top of a gift box for one of my friends. So I think that's going to be what I use these for. Again, you can use them for so many different things, and I think they'd be lovely, especially if you have someone who's allergic to flowers, or, you know, just doesn't like the scent, or, you know, maybe is in a nursing home or something like that where you'd like them to be able to enjoy the flowers for a bit longer. The bouquet ends up looking really beautiful, and so I think that that's a nice way to use them as well. So I will be back with a tutorial for these wild roses, as well as the pansies. So please subscribe to my channel for lots more videos coming up in 2015. Thanks so much.